Hi guys, this week's topic will be briefly about Copen Grand because I feel the performance of this launch was a little bit above expectations. Okay, so we will explain a little bit more. Before that, as usual, whatever I share today is just based on my own point of view and own research, and so make sure you do your due diligence before you do anything, and please consult a professional before also you make a move. And let's begin. Why I say it was above expectation, because if you look at the previous EC launch, which was North Gaia, back in that was this April, they only cleared 27%. And that is something I think a little bit of um I mean, if you think about a few years back, back in 2017, 2018, when they launched, people were not really expecting, oh, first day, first weekend clear 70, 80, 90%, that sort of thing. But now it seems to be like a trend. So this 27% seems like a downer, but actually it's not so bad in the normal market. But compared to Copen Grand, this was really quite, I would say, a little bit of a disappointment compared to the other one in Tengah. Why? And then the thing is, a lot of people feel that maybe it is due to the MSR restriction, because it's due to your it's tied to 30% of your income, and hence with also the recent decrease in um the floor rate 3.5% for loan assessment to 4.0%, which further reduces your loan eligibility for EC. So one will expect that Copen Grand wouldn't have done so as well. Okay, and if you look at North Gaia, their price so far average that has been transacted has been slightly just below 1,003. But Copen Grand, the first one is already cleared. They already cleared 1,003 on the first weekend. So previously we were still thinking, oh, the cooling measures came in, so the market should have cooled already. Then we shouldn't be expecting 70% kind of a launch weekend, 70, 80+%. But it seems that Common Greg is beating this kind of market pessimistic view lah. And mostly because previously we were all thinking, hey, maybe it's time for government to raise the MSR, and instead of 30%, maybe you should raise the 35%. If not, North Gaia cannot clear, so this guy is stuck. But the problem is, now that this guy has already done very, very well, it seems like this guy is a little bit doomed in a sense, because it seems that there are still people who are rich enough. And I'm going to share with you why Copen Grand, the fact that so many people are able to afford, like, especially the bigger units, it means something that is far more impressive. It's not just actually the Copen Grand thing. Okay, so let's see. It seems that Singaporeans are actually not as poor as people think, not as recession come already or not doing well, that kind of thing. We are actually far more well prepared, probably due to the various cooling measures that we're having over the past few years, especially since 2013. And there's a lot of disposable assets on the hands of Singaporeans. Whether is it their parents or whichever it is, we have no idea. But there are a lot of disposable assets around. So let's see, this is the Copen Grand one. They already sold a large majority of most of the unit type except for the very, very big ones. So you can see the largest one, there's 34 units left, 22 sold, so less than half sold, which is still quite impressive. Okay, we'll talk about it again. And even for 4 bedrooms, the 4 bed premium, they've only got 9 left there. Sold, there are 89 of them. This is a very large percentage, almost like 90% sold. Okay, that is and for 4 bed deluxe, it was totally sold out. I don't have the 4 bed deluxe price in this slide. But if you want, you can text me for it. I'll share with you. But that is not the thing. The thing is that in order to qualify for those units here, you really need a lot of current assets, like your cash and CPF. Why? Because of your loan. Your loan, the maximum amount of loan that most people are able to qualify for under the maximum income ceiling, which is $16,000, you're talking about $1 million loan. Okay, these are the prices over here, and before we can with the $1 million maximum loan for the $16,000 income ceiling, we are only able to afford up to this 3-bedroom without any additional cash or cash down payment or CPF or whichever lah, or pledging, unpledging, that sort of thing. So let's see, if let's say based on this income, let's say me and my wife, for example, we qualify for the maximum $16,000 income, 75% loan, we are looking for 30 year, and keep in mind that not everyone qualifies for 30-year the loan tenure. So there are people who qualify for shorter, and hence their amount of loan is lesser. And so we are talking about the most that they can qualify for. The most loan that they can qualify for is almost $1 million. And based on this, without the additional down payment that I mentioned, we are looking at 1.34 only. That means the whole bunch of people who are buying the higher end of 3-bedroom and the 4-bedroom deluxe, and then the 4-bedroom premium, and then the 5-bedroom premium, all these guys have additional liquidity on hand, and that's why they are able to afford. So how much are they able to fork out? Let's see. Let's take a look. Based on this, the maximum price $1 million, we are looking at $1.34 billion max. Okay, so this is based on the 16K max income, we can only afford max. That means the higher end of this 3-bedroom premium, if I don't have additional money, I cannot afford. And same goes for all this. And if we look at this, if let's say I go for the medium, maybe about 1.8, and then we've got here only about 2 million, so $1.82 million maximum loan, I have this. That means I need to fork out upfront $800,000. And this is not even including your buyer's stamp duty. Okay, and then you also have $1 million over here, because why? I'm only able to borrow $1 million, and hence $1 million I need to have upfront. Wow, can you imagine 800K upfront? If I have, how much can I afford for private? It's a lot of difference. Later, okay, basically it's just all here. For 800K, instead of going for EC that I'm able to afford $1.8 million, I can go up to a private that is 2.8. That means this couple, which could have been able to afford a $2.8 million private condo, they decide not to. They decide to go for EC that is a $1.8 million. And same goes for this couple that would have been able to afford close to $3.5 million worth of private. They decided to go for $2 million worth of the worth of a EC lah. Okay, sorry, a little bit jam, got distracted a little bit. Okay, then that's why you can see that actually these people, this is actually their true affordability, but they decided not to. They decided to go for a EC over here, which is not no right, no wrong, but this shows that actually how much that if they really want to, they would have been able to afford. And that means there are a lot of people that are able to afford the 2 point something to $3+ million range. They're sitting around, and when they are deciding whether to go ahead with EC or private, or I'm pretty sure there are still a lot of them sitting around and still deciding, because there's a lot of market uncertainty and they have a lot of fear. Okay, so you can see over here, Singaporeans tend to be quite rich. Okay, why I say Singaporeans? Because you remember ECs, there are brand new ECs, only Singaporeans can qualify. They minimally need to have that one Singapore citizen inside the nucleus before they can qualify. It's not say suka you or SPR can. Two SPR cannot qualify for EC. Let's remember that. That's why your EC, your Singaporeans, it seems that they are rather loaded. And that's why they can afford all this. You can see all this sold, and this is sold, and this is sold, and all these involve additional cash and CPF. Okay, so let's see again. If let's say I want to afford $1.8 million, if I factor into a 5% down payment, buyer's stamp duty legal, I'm looking at this amount of money that I need to have on hand. And based on this, I will need to top up this amount of money. So if I don't want to top up this amount of money, I can pledge this amount to the bank, or I can pledge this amount to the bank to qualify for an EC. Okay, because based on that amount of money, I would need this additional amount, because I cannot qualify for the loan, and so I need to top up this amount of money. I need to top up to this over here, and that's why I need to pledge or unpledge. But on the other hand, for private, if I want to have this same amount of top up, I'm pretty sure not everyone are paying this upfront. They probably are doing some form of pledge or unpledge. And based on private side, right, if they are buying a private instead and they wish to top up, if they are talking about this amount of money, in terms of loan shop for almost the same amount, 344K, they are looking at pledging a much smaller amount of money or unpledging. Well, can you imagine this guy who's maybe he do unpledging? I'm pretty sure quite a lot of people are not doing unpledging. Are not doing pledging because you're locking in about 4 years inside the bank, and most people wouldn't want to put them especially you have quite high interest rates going on in other instruments right now. And if you are looking at this guy would have been for this ECR, if he do unpledging, maybe the parents would have been able to fork out 800K, 877K upfront for them. Maybe some of them not even parents, maybe they have the money somehow. Maybe they make money from crypto, make money from stocks, make money from whatever bonuses here and there for the company, or maybe gonna retrench a super big package, whichever it is, we don't know. And we are still assuming that this one you are hitting at a 16K income with a 30-year loan tenure. This kind of couple, and how many people are actually below 16K and they still qualify for EC? And how many people are actually more than 35 years old and then they qualify for less than 30-year loan tenure, which means a lesser amount of loan? So I'm really talking about the ideal case sort of scenario. And then these people are, well, they are able to afford this. And this is the part that is not easy. When you have a loan shortfall, you either pledge or unpledge or you pay it up upfront. So to fork out this amount of money, additional on to this amount of money, wow, 800K that you can buy a $2.8 billion private. That's the kind of difference. And so same goes for the $82 million guy, which is a 5 bedroom. In order to afford this 5 bedroom EC, $2 million, you're looking at this kind of upfront. And then on top of this kind of upfront, I'm looking to top up this amount of money. And if I don't want to top up directly to pay, I almost 500K. I'm looking at pledging, locking in for almost 4 years with the bank, 300 plus $1,000. And if I don't want to lock them, I'm pledging 1.25 to $1.26 million. I'm taking out 1 point something million. Whoa, how much money is that? I think of transferring the money in between bank accounts is really, oh, I think mind blowing. Okay. And then if I'm looking at buying a private instead, if I'm looking to top up the same amount of money to buy whatever property, I'm looking to top up this because my loan cannot qualify. I do not need to unpledge so much. All I need to do, I just show almost half the cash. In fact, the ratio is about 1.83 compared to EC and private, the sort of pledge unpledge kind of sort of difference from what I see. And then if I don't want, I can just pledge $200,000, ma. So you can see a lot of difference. How much actually it is much tougher to qualify for a high quantum EC. Okay, why am I showing you this? Because what I'm trying to say is that it is actually very, very, very hard for you to qualify for a high quantum EC compared to a high quantum private. And these people are able to do it. They're able to buy the 4 or 5 bedroom. So what does this mean? This means that actually there are a lot of money. There are a lot of people in Singapore with a lot of money. It's just that maybe they may be sitting on the fence. Some of them maybe choose to go and buy $1 million HDB. Some of them maybe choose to go and buy EC. And because some of them they cannot qualify for they cannot qualify under the recent cooling measure that within a 15-month period they cannot go downsize to HDB. And then they also cannot come back to EC. So what happened? They will end up sitting at the sidelines right now. They are sitting at the sidelines right now. From what I know, there are quite some of them already. Even some of my clients, they just recently cleared the property and they are looking around, waiting, and they have a lot of financial assets to sit around and then go and slowly shop as some of them looking for their retirement home so they can take their own sweet time. It doesn't have to be a very good deal because to them they have enough money. They are looking for retirement homes, and as long as it's something that they like, the size is right for them. It doesn't have to be a biggest because not everyone need biggest house because some of them they are retired already. The kids already move out. They only got two of them. How big do you need a house to be? It doesn't have to be a lot, what, like landed 4 or 5 bedroom, doesn't have to be a condo 4 or 5 bedroom. It just had to be at least 2 or 3 bedrooms, because some of them they feel, wow, very tiring to go and clean out a house that is big, mah. And that's why you are seeing a lot of millionaires around in Singapore. You can see over here, 2020 to 2021 alone, during the COVID period, suddenly we increased by 6% already. And ultra high net worth individuals we increased by even more, 9%. Because whether is it people actually um, they migrate in or not, I'm pretty sure that there are. But eventually, there are a lot of people who are sitting around with a lot of wealth. And all these people, they may not be buying private condo, but you just need maybe half of them, three-quarter of them. Then what will happen to the market? Okay, and if we look at these stats from SingStat over here, maybe we've got all these like a net worth, financial assets, residential assets. Before we get confused, this one is your currency and deposit. Then you got CPF, and then the thing that we want to focus on today is more of your mortgage loan, which is a yellow in color. So there are a lot of people who have been buying properties over the past 1 2 years, but it seems that yes, it is increasing, but it's increasing at a much lower rate, because while we are taking out more loans, there are also more people paying down the loans, and hence we. But at the same time, people are also earning money, and that's why you've got assets that are still building up at a much higher, at a much more exponentially faster rate than the mortgage loans are actually growing. And hence, that's why we are looking at the wider the gap this is, the richer actually Singaporeans are, because the more you the more your assets minus your mortgage loans, the higher your net worth, right? So this one is a much more simpler chart, because I wanted a little bit more details. That's why I showed this, but this is pretty much almost the same thing. You got household liabilities over the years. They've been like this. Okay, pardon me. I didn't manage to get the 2020 one. I screwed halfway, but anyway, my bad. But it's pretty much the same level. Whereas the other one is that, from what I see, I will share with you guys next time if you need to. Uh, it's it's still widening. So it's basically similar to this trend over here. It's just this one is a more simple diagram lah, and it's still from the same source. Okay, so I'm not gonna bore you with this, since this one is the wrong one anyway. So from what we're seeing here is that it seems that there are a lot of rich people sitting around in Singapore, and they are definitely waiting to pounce on the market. There are some of them are complaining, we are hearing a lot of the forums, your auntie uncles around, wow, the market so blah 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 blah. But those people who have been sitting around complaining tend to be the one that either have money, don't want to take action, or no money, don't want to take action, no money, want to take action, cannot take action. That's why they are sitting around making noises. Whereas there are people that I know, quite some of them, they have the money, they have the capital, they are just waiting for the so-called good opportunities. So is it really true that Singaporeans are facing a recession? Yes, we may be facing an incoming recession. That one is for sure, because of the worldwide global outlook. But the thing is that generally we are still quite well prepared, because of the amount of cooling measures that have been implemented over the years, which contributes to the wide gap between assets and liabilities. And this will help us to mitigate the effects of global recession in times to come. Okay. So for those people who are waiting, you're thinking again. I think I touched on this the previous time, but this one is a slightly more updated version. Based on these stats from mortgage wise, you've got the interest rates are really sharply rising, and then people are saying, okay, this one is a bad time to buy property. Yes, on paper I agree, because the higher your interest rate, the more your mortgage mark. But the thing is, if you buy the right type of property, it will eventually help you to uh grow more. You will eventually grow your capital in a much faster way. Why? Because there's a lot of people who say, wow, last time 2002, 2005, 2006, I should have bought property. Last time the previous wave, 2018, 2019, people go and buy Florence, buy Treasure, make a few hundred K, I missed the boat. You think they got no fear, man? Eventually, remember, the interest rates were high. you were already at this kind of peak where you are now where we are. There's a lot of fear about interest rate. They're already hitting that kind of rates. And the best part is a lot of people say, oh, last time 20 years ago, or I should have bought a property, or what, those who have what even more. Wow, you look at how high the rates are. This is incredible, man. If you're looking at this kind. But there people who with a lot of fear? Then yes, for sure. There were people who were sat on the sidelines, but there were people who just in the end took the leap and jumped because they knew that interest rate is not going to stay high forever. Then that is a fact because it cannot stay high forever. If it keeps staying high at this level forever, economies will crash, man. Because businesses are lending money. You are borrowing a $1, 2, 3 million mortgage loan, but eventually at the end of the day, when you are buying, when you are looking at businesses, they are borrowing hundreds and millions of dollars. So their interest rates are much higher. If you start seeing at that kind of rates, businesses will suffer. And when businesses suffer, what will happen? People will suffer. That's why it cannot stay high. It is now high because we have to tackle the inflation rate. And eventually, when even inflation rates are able to be more tame, then these rates will have to come down. And those people who have the foresight to ride this wave, take on the opportunities now, and no way until, 1, 2 years later, then I start jumping in when the rates coming down. When the rates are down, that is when people are more willing to offer high prices for you to cash out. And when people are trying to cash out, then there's the part where you're trying to get in. Then isn't that the basically this cycle lah? I'm pretty sure most of you have seen this already. When people wow, interest rates low, then you go and start buying. But when there's a lot of fear, interest rates are high, then you do go and source for a good deal. You just sit at the side, complain and complain. And then this is what happens. Same goes for the stock market. People will just ride the wave and then keep thinking, jumping in like the cryptocurrency kind of wave. And then when it crashes, or all right on the Terra coin nonsense, and then end up, we all know what happens. So at the end of the day, it is important for us at any point of time when you are ready, when you have the capital, you don't sit at the sidelines and complain. And on what you can do on the other hand is to take the time to really sit down and dig up opportunities and prospect what are the real diamonds around sitting around instead of waiting for your opportunities. Opportunities are always around in every market. It's a matter of whether you are trying to you are trying your very best and ready to jump onto your opportunities, right? Okay, so that will be the end of what we are going to share today. Any others questions, just feel free to PM me and I'll see how I can help. And if you are interested to find out what are the opportunities in the market, and then just drop me a text and I definitely can share with you. Okay, that will be all we have for today, and see you guys. Bye bye.